The world's come to expect great things from UC Davis. The bold, the daring, the big ideas that do more than address today. They solve for tomorrow. As we look forward, we look to you. We're asking you to think bigger than what's possible of an individual, to make a greater difference with us. Expect greater from UC Davis for the world.
Hello everyone, I'm Chancellor Gary May. I'm so glad you could join us for another one of our popular Plugged In events. Today we're focusing on an important subject, fostering healthy living and wellness for our UC Davis students. One of our top priorities is ensuring that our students are well supported mentally, physically, and emotionally. The UC Davis Division of Student Affairs is at the forefront of advancing the university's mission to prepare our students to become leaders and change makers. By providing students with programs, services, and facilities that foster academic success, students are finding purpose in their educational journey. Student Affairs also supports all members of the campus community in their academic, social, cultural, personal, and civic development. They enable our UC Davis community to contribute to the advancement of the campus and the world. Our efforts have not gone unrecognized. UC Davis was named the number 10 public university in the nation for public good by Washington Monthly in 2021. Forbes also ranked UC Davis number 4 among public universities in the nation for, quote, the most outstanding education to the broadest range of students at the most affordable price. This level of excellence is a tradition that Student Affairs maintains by offering remarkable experiences that give meaning and vitality to each individual's journey of learning, discovery, and engagement. By bringing awareness to all aspects of well-being, we're able to create a welcoming and invigorating environment that produces success. Today's speakers will share the wellness programs that encourage and enable campus community members to be the best version of themselves. Now I invite you to take a deep breath, open your minds, and enjoy today's discussion.
Good morning. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Pablo Reguerin, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs here at UC Davis. Since my appointment in July of 2020, I've had the pleasure of advancing programs and services that support students in their academic pursuits, providing guidance for the campus throughout turbulent times, and promoting leadership, teamwork, and social responsibility. I'm thrilled to be here with you today to discuss one of UC Davis's top priorities, student wellness. During today's event, we'll be discussing how UC Davis's Division of Student Affairs works collaboratively across the campus to support students in every facet of their health and wellness, from mental health and counseling to stress management, nutrition, and exercise. You will hear from several campus leaders and students who play an integral role in helping connect students to health and wellness resources by implementing educational programs to collectively raise awareness about student health and well-being. Student panelists will also share their experience accessing, utilizing, and leading these services and programs. After we've heard from our speakers, I will open up the floor for the audience to ask questions and receive answers from our panelists. For those of you who have already submitted questions before the webinar, thank you. For those of you that have yet to submit questions, don't worry. You will have the opportunity to submit questions throughout the event. To submit a question, please type your question in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. If you have a question for a particular speaker, please be sure to mention their name in your question. Lastly, after the Q&A, there will be a short poll where we would like you to there will be a poll for you to fill out so you can learn more about what Student Affairs is doing to promote wellness on campus. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Corey Vu, Associate Vice Chancellor for Health, Wellness, and Divisional Resources. Corey has been a tremendous leader on campus, within Student Affairs, but certainly beyond Student Affairs across the whole campus. And I'm very proud, along with Chancellor Gary May, to have named him as the Chief Wellness Officer for all of UC Davis. Corey?
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor Reguerin, and thank you to everyone for attending today's event on student wellness. The term wellness is incredibly broad and describes more than simply a healthy body and mind. Just as a student struggling with a physical or mental health concern, may have more difficult times succeeding academically. So too with a student who is struggling to fit in or pay for appropriate housing or food. Financial, social, and environmental wellness are not always on top of everyone's mind. However, research shows that they also have a significant impact on student performance. There are several examples of wellness here today that we will be discussing. And the few examples that I just mentioned are in the 8 dimensions of wellness that are presented to you by the wheel on the slide that you see right there in front of you. Each dimension plays an important role in helping to increase student success and retention. Research suggests that by cultivating student health and wellness, we can help students be more resilient and thrive academically, which can help them succeed and complete their degrees. I'm excited to share with you the variety of wellness programs we offer at UC Davis, aimed to support students at multiple dimensions of wellness. But before we dive in, I would like to introduce to you 2 UC Davis students on our panel, Ryan Manriquez and Zoe Pienta, who will also share with you their perspective on wellness during the presentation today. Every 2 years, we survey students via the American College Health Association, National College Health Association assessment, which we also call ACHA-NACHA. In the survey, we asked the students, what are the top 5 negative impacts that they have to academics? You can see on the slide in the upper right-hand corner of the figure there that procrastination, stress, anxiety, depression, and sleep difficulties rank in the top 5. I apologize for the small print there, but if you look and compare the numbers from 2021 to 2019, you can see that each one of those categories that I mentioned, other than procrastination, which was not assessed in 2019, has gone up. So for stress, in 2019, it was 44.4% of students report that it had negative impacts to their academics. It's 54.6% in 2021. Anxiety went up from 35.3 to 40.7. Depression went up from 23.6% to 29.6%. And sleep difficulties went up from 25.5% to 27.8. We also asked students, if they experience the following problems: finances, academics, career, procrastination, health to someone close to them in the last 12 months. The percentages on the left indicate that the majority or most of our students, many of our students experience those challenges or problems. And of those reporting the issue, you can see over 3/4 of them report that it caused them moderate or high distress in their lives. So what were the pandemic effects on students? So 1 in 8 students on the slide here reported that a loved one, close family member, or friend has died due to COVID-19. 9 in 10 students reported that the pandemic increased their stress level. Almost half of the students reported a significant increase in stress, like I mentioned earlier. 56.3% of students reported their financial situation has been more stressful. 1 in 25 students are at a different college or university that they had planned to attend because of the pandemic. Students will also ask what were they concerned about or extremely concerned about in the last 30 days. You can see by the responses there, many has to do with the pandemic. 3 in 5 students were concerned about how long the pandemic will last. 3 in 10, very concerned about that they will get COVID-19. 3 in 5, very concerned about someone that they care about will get COVID-19. 1 in 2 are extremely or very concerned about someone that they care about will die from COVID-19. 2 in 3 reported that they are not able to spend time with people they care about. 7 in 10 students are very uncertain about the future due to the pandemic. We asked students what their overall stress levels were in the last 12 months. And you can see from the slide here that 85% of our students report that they have moderate stress or high stress in the last 12 months. Emotional wellness revolves around effectively dealing with life challenges. Students who have stable emotional wellness are able to cope with stress, handle their feelings and actions, and create sustained, healthy, and meaningful relationships. They are also able to build resiliency, which in turn helps them to feel more confident in their abilities to cope with and to work through difficulties. Several studies have shown that stress and mental health affect academic success in college. For example, symptoms of depression and anxiety significantly predict a lower GPA and higher probability of dropping out. Researchers suggest that campuses that invest in mental health resources are better equipped to support these students toward higher GPAs and lower dropout rates. At UC Davis, we have adopted a holistic and comprehensive approach to mental health promotion and suicide prevention, as demonstrated by the wheel on the slide, that focuses on different facets, including helping students develop life skills, promoting social connectedness, identifying student at risk, increasing help-seeking behavior, providing substance abuse and mental health services, follow crisis management procedures, and also restricting access to potential lethal means on campus. Thanks to the support of the Chancellor, the Provost, and campus leadership, including Vice Chancellor Gregory, UC Davis has made significant investments during the past year in increasing our counseling staffing. We increased our counselors from 34 counselors this last spring to 46 that we're trying to hire right now, doubling our non-clinical case managers in the process, and also adding positions that support the transgender community and victims of sexual abuse and violence. In addition, we're in process of implementing Health 34 in the fall that will deliver mobile non-emergency response, including mental health navigation and minor medical care to every segment of the UC Davis campus. We're also in the process of developing a peer-to-peer program and campus-wide mental health marketing communications program with the goal of increasing knowledge of mental health programs, services, and resources on campus. Across the country and at UC Davis, students are increasingly seeking out mental health resources. The diversity of counselors and outreach to historically underserved populations are critical to increase access and reduce stigma for students at UC Davis. At UC Davis, we have counselors who speak a variety of languages, have different emphasis areas, are embedded in all of our colleges and professional schools and communities across the campus. Right now, I'd like to take to stop right here for a second to ask one of our student panelists, Ryan, to share his experiences with some of the services and programs that I mentioned. Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Corey, for the presentation thus far. Hey, everyone. My name is Ryan Enriquez. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm a fourth year studying political science and communications. A little bit about my experience using counseling services. I really value the specific group counseling services that we might get into a little bit later during the Q&A session. But these specific group sessions and group therapy with other students alike really go into the specific communities and what those communities need. So for myself, I'm a student with a disability. So I know we have a chronic illnesses group here at UC Davis. And, finding that group and being able to identify not just with the moderator or the counselor of the group, but with students, and having that support system in place on a weekly basis, not on a monthly basis, was really helping me in my journey dealing with high stress, high anxiety, dealing with the pandemic, and all those different things. So yeah, I can go more into it a little bit later, but thank you, Corey, for calling me on that.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you. Studies show a positive link between healthy behaviors. For example, getting enough sleep, partaking in regular physical activities, eating nutritious meals, physical health, and improved academic performance, such as higher GPA, for example, in university students. At Student Health, we focus our programs to reinforce these healthy behaviors. We have registered dietitians that provide assessments and evaluations for nutrition-related concerns and conditions, including eating disorders, eating concerns, disordered eating, diabetes and pre-diabetes, heart health, gastrointestinal concerns, and helping students meet their nutritional needs while food insecure. We also have a teaching kitchen that offers free cooking demonstrations with curriculum that emphasizes nutrition and culinary education and skill building, along with the teaching students how to prepare their own nutritious food while keeping cost and time management in mind. We also focus on sustainability by using seasonal and local ingredients when able. We have maps, on our Student Health and Counseling Services website to show students where they can take a nap, find a healthy meal, hydrate, or even find mental health and wellness resources. In addition to providing excellent physical and mental health care at Student Health and Counseling Services, we also offer other programs that encourages healthy behavior. Every Second Count is an interactive program that empowers students to make decisions take action, care for their peers during time-sensitive critical moments. This workshop includes CPR training and student-centered standard training with the emphasis on alcohol-related situations. We have Helmet Hair Don't Care initiative where students, staff, and faculty receive a free bike helmet by completing a short bike education training and signing the Healthy Hair Don't Care pledge. We have the Love Lab and STI and HIV testing that we provide. Being informed is the first step for students in taking charge of their sexual health, whether or not they are currently sexually active. Subsidized STI and HIV testing is offered to students in a confidential and welcoming manner. We also promote the Aegis Act, which is a UC Davis protocol that promotes barriers when seeking help in potentially life-threatening situations involving alcohol and other substances. Aegis Act is both a good Samaritan and medical amnesty policy, encouraging shared responsibilities among UC Davis students to take action. We also have on our website safe party information to make sure that students are safe when they're partying. And then, when they are stressed during midterms and finals, we bring out our therapy fluffies to help them reduce stress during those times. There is a positive relationship that exists between regular physical activity, cardiovascular fitness, mental health, and well-being among university students. Many studies have shown that. At Campus Recreation, we have a variety of programs for students to get involved with. At the Activities and Recreation Center, we call the ARC, students can join exercise classes. They can get personalized advice from a certified trainer or use hundreds of pieces of top-of-the-line exercise machines and equipment. They have dedicated spaces for specialty workouts, new outdoor fit yard, and so much more for them to access at the ARC. We have an aquatics program. The rec pool is open for lap swimming, leisure swimming, as well as studying and lounging around the pool deck. We have an outdoors adventures program that offers a variety of outdoor adventure activities to students throughout the entire year, such as hiking, rock climbing, backpacking, whitewater rafting, pedal sports, kayaking, camping, rock climbing, and many others. We have the UC Davis Marching Band. Students can join our marching band and perform at a number of events throughout the year, such as the home football games, men and women's basketball games, picnic day, and many others. We have competitive sports program. Campus Recreation provides students the opportunity to participate in a variety of competitive and recreation sports activities. Rec sports offer more than 40 different activities, including basketball, softball, soccer, volleyball, flag football, ultimate frisbee, and so many others. Our Campus Recreation Sports Club program promotes student participation in a wide range of intercollegiate athletic competition. Our Live Well program offers students a range of indoor exercise options. Students can enjoy group exercise, small group training, dance, martial arts, personal training. There's so many things, so many programs offered to our students. We also have an equestrian center that offers a variety of activities that range from competitive equestrian sports to club teams to leisure riding lessons. Our craft center offers students a perfect place to learn a skill or perfect an art form they are already familiar with. We offer classes for students in arts and crafts, ceramics, flame working, glass, jewelry, screen printing, textile, welding, woodworking, and others. To ensure that all students are able to participate in the many wonderful programs that we have at Campus Recreation, we created a well-being fee waiver program to assist students with the greatest financial need. During the past year, we have given approximately 2,400 waivers to students, and that amounts to about $135,000 in total. I would like to stop right here for a second again to ask one of our student panelists, Sophia, to share her experience with some of the services and programs that I mentioned. Sophia?
Thank you, Corey. Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia, and I'm a third-year managerial economics major. I'm a student manager for Living Well. I'm also a group exercise instructor and a personal trainer. So I'm heavily involved in campus recreation, and we have amazing resources, also including nutrition counseling. And we're heavily expanding with our DEI initiatives, Healthy at Every Size, and just promoting the well-being for all of our students, well-being as inclusive as possible, including the fee waiver financially. We just have a lot of great resources lots of exercise programs. And as someone that instructs people and has been in the classes, it has created such a great community for everyone. And it really does just boost someone's mood. Like in my cycling classes, everyone's so happy afterwards. So these programs really do change the way people feel about wellness, and just they have a better attitude going into their day after using our services as well. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Sophia. So it should come to no surprise that financial wellness is essential for student success. In fact, students' financial status is one of the most restrictive factors when it comes to whether or not students complete their academic programs. Studies consistently show that students' negative financial situation affects many other dimensions of their health. The most profound effects are seen on their mental and physical wellness. From providing fresh produce, rent subsidies, rapid rehousing for students facing homelessness, to connecting students to counseling, mental health referrals, and financial wellness classes, the Aggie Campus Basic Needs Center at UC Davis helps students weather immediate challenges while building a plan for ongoing well-being. Having a safe environment improves the physical and social wellness by providing space for students to be active, socialize with one another, and relieve stress. All of these benefits can enhance the academic success and intellectual growth of our students. In the last 2 years, UC Davis nationally recognized asymptomatic testing, contact tracing, and isolation and quarantine housing programs have kept our students and the Davis community safe. Through the Aggie Public Health Ambassador Program, many of our students helped us model healthy behaviors, educate people about campus protocols, and encourage everyone to make healthy choices that reduce the transmission of COVID-19. As a campus, we all play a significant role and contribute to student wellness, ultimately helping students reach their goals and to get most value of their education journey. By providing students with these tools and resources and communicating with them cohesively, we can help them achieve wellness and grow both as students and individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vu, for sharing details about the wellness program and to our students who are actively involved with UC Davis. Now it's time for our Q&A segment. Many people again submitted their questions, so we'll dive into those first, and then we'll move to the questions posed during the event in the Q&A box. So I will start with our first question, which was submitted. What has been the university's experience with students returning to campus in regard to wellness resource access? Corey, could you tell us a little bit about what our practitioners have seen?
Yeah, thank you so much, Pablo. So, as we came back to campus in the fall, I think across the board, not only at student health and counseling services, but all our services that we provide within student affairs have seen an increase in utilization, in caseload. Many students report that they have been experiencing increase in anxiety and depression and trouble sleeping. The stress levels are high. So we, are experiencing that across the board and doing our best to make sure that, we have the services available for the students, access available for them when they need it. So that's why we're working so hard to try and increase our counseling levels and other support staff so that we can support our students, not only this year, but the upcoming year.
Thank you. So this next question I'm going to pose to Ryan and Sophia to each share their thoughts. How does UC Davis encourage students to participate in well-being and wellness programs?
I can answer that one first. One thing that I've noticed being at Davis over the course of the past year and a half, I've never witnessed a campus be so open when it comes to mental health care. I was a transfer student at my community college. It wasn't something that was a priority or discussed about. And in high school, it wasn't discussed or talked about. And we had counselors, but it was more so on the academic counseling side and not really on the mental health care side. So really the work that Corey and Pablo and UC Davis as a whole have done to make sure that mental health care is something that's discussed, something that's destigmatized, and something that's really inclusive for all students it has truly been remarkable. And I think that's one of the reasons why students are so open talking about mental health and they feel like they can access the services here.
Sophia?
I definitely agree with what Ryan is saying. I totally feel like I'm supported with my mental health resources, like with my supervisors at campus recreation. If I'm not feeling that great that day or just have very low morale, they're there for me and they support me. And they always ask how I'm doing, and my mental health is definitely their priority. On the physical wellness side, I feel like campus recreation continuously is expanding and trying to reach the entire campus with our fee waiver being more inclusive that way, our DEI initiatives, and we plan on expanding our services to the dorms, so people in their first year already know that there are several resources for them for well-being. We also have expanded our class offerings. We have a meditation class. We have several free self-defense classes, because not only is our physical health important, but also our safety. So having free self-defense classes that fill up instantly with over 100 students every quarter is really amazing. And it also makes people feel safe while enjoying exercise.
Sophia, could I ask a follow-up question? You all have a campaign of Come As You Are. Can you say how have students responded to the Come As You Are? Has it helped address issues of stigma, students that may not be as comfortable maybe going to a workout facility? Just curious if you could share a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. I think Come As You Are is an amazing slogan. And as a personal trainer, I have come across people that I've felt have had issues with body dysmorphia or have had past eating disorders. And being able to work with them and move them into spaces in the gym where they felt less comfortable was really rewarding, and they feel very confident, and they definitely feel like they can come there and be themselves. And with the Come As You Are slogan, people coming in, they definitely do feel like they can be themselves, not judged, just there to work on themselves. So I think the resources that we have really helped with that. And we've also added like personal training and nutrition drop-in hours together to open that door for people who might not know the proper exercises to do or the correct form. And this gives them a space to ask questions at no cost, just to make sure they're staying safe and feeling confident.
Okay, we're going to turn to, we did have another question around student access to mental health services, and we're getting some in the Q&A. So I'm going to keep this with the students for a minute, and then we'll come back to provide some more information from Dr. Vu. So Ryan, maybe I can kick it over to you. How can students access mental health services in person, including crisis care? And if you're open to sharing any experiences you've had, and then we'll also loop back to hear more about the comprehensive services available.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I'll give kind of two answers, one from when I first came to Davis, and maybe one where I am right now. So when I first came to Davis, it was during the pandemic, fall of 2020. And I decided to move to Davis because it was safer in terms of COVID numbers, and worldwide recognized testing facility. So it was safer for me as a disabled student, immunocompromised student, to move here instead of live in my own community back home. So moving to Davis, I didn't really realize the effects it would have on me. I anticipated that, okay, I'll probably miss my mom, I'll miss my dad, I'll miss my friends, but all of that, moving into a studio, right, not having roommates to kind of get me out of my shell and keep me active. Also going through a breakup at the very same time within the first couple of weeks of moving to Davis. All of those things really drove me to, I don't know a better word to call it than breakdown. So I was really struggling with my mental health. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what services I could access because I'd never needed counseling before. I didn't really focus on my mental health because living with a disability, I've always been so focused on my physical health, right? I didn't really need to worry about my mental health until this came around. So I didn't really know what to do, but I knew that the Student Health and Wellness Center existed. And I went to the doorstep of the Student Health and Wellness Center and just asked for help. I didn't know what else to do than do that. And luckily they pointed me to a counselor who met with me within the next hour and the next half hour probably. They have standby crisis counselors ready for students to come in this scenario like mine. And that person connected me with the group services that I mentioned earlier today. So those things really, I saved my life. In addition to where I am now, I serve as president for the Associate Students of UC Davis, which represents all 31,000 undergraduate students. And I know I work with Pablo, I work with Corey probably on a weekly basis around mental health and what we're doing with programs like Health 34, other counseling services, and getting more counselors available to students and kind of closing that counselor to student ratio to be above the national standard. So now I can relay all the information that I've learned over the past year onto students who might have been lost at the very beginning, like myself. And being able to do that has truly been a blessing, and just being able to help people from where I was at, a year and a half ago to where I am at now. I'm really happy I'm able to do that.
Corey, would you mind do you have any follow-up? That we have gotten a number of questions about accessing services. Ryan talked about a couple. I know we have many entry points and different ways of getting support. Is there anything that you want to add in terms of advising a student to seek out support and the multiple ways that they can get support, including but not limited to one-on-one appointments?
Okay, thanks, Pablo. Yeah, Ryan did a really good job summarizing the services that we have. If a student's in crisis, we always have a crisis counselor available at the Student Health and Wellness Center and also at North Hall. So they can always come in and do not need an appointment for that. They can be seen on the same day if they have a crisis. I totally understand the issues with access, and we're trying our best to increase access here at UC Davis. Ryan mentioned that our student to counselor ratio has significantly decreased during this year as we hire more and more counselors. We're hoping that with the additional 12 counselors that I mentioned to you, once we get full staff in the fall, we will have a ratio of 1 counselor per 830 students, which is much lower than the national requirement, which is 1 to 1,000 or to 1 to 1,500. But additional counselors and increasing access is a priority for us, and we're in the process, through the hiring challenges that we have to try to get them on board so that we can serve our students.
Thank you, Corey. All right. We also had a question. I'm going to pass this on to you, Sophia. Do you have any suggestions for ways to manage stress?
Yes. So like I mentioned before, we have a meditation class and plus yoga and several different yoga variations. And I feel like that calming space with a whole community of people that may feel the same way as you is very supporting. I'm a big fan of meditation myself. I also just look up some 10-minute YouTube videos for meditation. Also just bringing a friend to the ARC with me and having that not only like social interaction, but I'm also helping my mental and physical well-being all at the same time is really great. And I find that a lot of my clients that come into the ARC that are feeling stressed or have had a really rough day, after they get a little bit of activity in, they feel immediately better. And just having a friend or a peer with them has been really amazing. I also recommend, honestly, just fitting time into your calendar, even if it's super busy. I've found myself extremely busy as we've picked back up in person. Even in my calendar, making small spaces for a walk or getting coffee with a friend. Putting yourself first is extremely important. And I also tell my clients and people in the other groups I'm involved in, it's okay to say no to things. Like if you are feeling really stressed out and if you feel like you can't commit to someone, that's okay. You should say no. And putting yourself first will be the best thing, because at the end of the day, like all you have is you. So making sure you're prioritizing your mental and physical well-being is really great. And at the ARC, Living Well has an office. So you can go in and ask for any of their resources, such as a personal training drop-in or a free class, self-defense class. They can get you registered with those too. And then you can find a community within those classes. A lot of people in my classes have become really close friends and go with each other. That's how I manage my stress. And I find that a lot of people also feel like it's a stress reliever. Just finding that community in spaces that you are interested in. And for me, that's definitely physical exercise.
Thank you, Sophia. Ryan, do you want to comment on other strategies or ways that other suggestions you have for students on managing stress?
Yeah, mine is actually really unique to Davis and UC Davis specifically. So over the course of the pandemic, I really used to go on runs and explore campus when no one was here. It was really just, it helped me get outside and get a breath of fresh air, but it also helped me explore campus to where I was, ready to be back in person. But the one place that I found on campus that was particularly soothing and I managed my stress there was actually the dairy cows at the dairy cow farm right behind Tesoro. So I would visit them probably 3 or 4 times a week whenever I was having a rough time. I would go up and feed them and just say hi to them and maybe even sing to them if I wasn't around people. But I would just go see the cows, and it always like brought my mood up to be around them. And they always kind of followed me because they liked my wheelchair. So it was really cute. But I just wanted to add that in there because I thought it was very funny and a little bit unique.
Thank you. I'm going to turn to some of the questions that have come up about nutritional health. This is our last topic from the pre-submitted questions. Then we'll move over to the Q&A. And I'm gonna stay for a little longer here with Sophia and Ryan just to lead us off. What kinds of healthy food options are available to students on campus? And what are some of your favorite healthy food spots on campus? Sophia, you want to start?
Yeah, so I actually have a gluten intolerance, so my diet's already very limited, but I found that the MU has markers on their restaurants of what is gluten-free, and that's really helpful because with an intolerance, my whole day can just be messed up if I accidentally consume something. So that's really great because then I know exactly what I'm eating. They're very transparent with their vegan options, gluten-free, and several other things. So I find that the MU is an amazing place for me, but I also really enjoy all the markets across campus. There's a market in the ARC, there's another one in the MU and the Silo. And that's great because there's just quick and easy things there, but they also have several healthy options, which I really appreciate. In the refrigerated section, they have like one of my favorite protein bars there. So I think that we have a variety of resources all across campus, but if I was to choose one, it'd be the restaurants within the MU because of the transparent food markers.
Ryan?
Yeah, and I would have to agree with that. The restaurants in the MU, like the ASUCD Coffee House, offer great resources for students and a variety of different options for what students want to eat. I know the manager and director of the coffee house, and everything is freshly made and it's homemade. So a lot of the ingredients are very fresh and very healthy for students. Additionally, also in the MU, we have the ASUCD Pantry, which really fights food insecurity among students and among everyone who visits. So they offer a lot of healthy options for students at free of cost, very easy to access. You just go in and swipe your student ID card, show them your daily symptom survey, and you basically just walk in like a grocery store and take what you need. So those are both really great options for students.
Great. I'm going to turn over now to take some questions from the Q&A. One of the first ones that came in is regarding looks like it's from a parent who has a student and students have been having some challenges plugging into a community, seeking out resources, and also asking about immediate issues versus waiting for an appointment. So let me talk a little bit about that, and I'm also going to ask Corey to add for anything I certainly missed. So we talked earlier about students in crisis or crisis appointments. So there isn't a single definition of somebody in crisis. So if your son or daughter or student feels they're in crisis, they should go during office hours, they can go directly to our counseling services department. After hours, there's a phone line that you can call, but it's not like one definition or a clinical definition of crisis. It's for if the student feels they're in crisis, they should go. And sometimes people think, well, my situation's not that difficult. So if you feel you're in crisis, seek out the support right away. Also, they're feeling connected, especially with COVID and combating the sense of isolation. We are seeing on campus that students need more support for building connections. And so there's a number of things where you're in a group, you're automatically in a group of students. Some of them we talked about today. So signing up for a class, maybe it's a class, maybe it is a student organization. Another one too that is tutoring, study groups. Even if you feel you don't need it, but being engaged with as many different groups and activities, outdoor recreation, signing up for one of the trips or programs. So trying to get into as many of those activities that are already happening that you can come into. And then of course, the drop-in group counseling was also mentioned as one of the options as well. Corey, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, thank you, Pablo. So like you mentioned, any student can go into North Hall or go to any location where there is a counselor and talk to the counselor. But if you go into North Hall or even at Student Health and Wellness Center, we have case managers available there to triage and determine the level of severity or level of need. And if you need to be seen right away, they will get you to help right away. If there is if the need is not as emergent, then they'll schedule you for an appointment as soon as possible. So that's we have people there that triage and make sure that that you will be seen appropriately.
And there were a few questions also in the chat regarding the survey results. I'm gonna ask this one a little bit more briefly, but so the National College Health Assessment that Corey referred to in the data, it is a it's a survey. I don't have the response rates that were requested in the question, but I can tell you we use it not only to look at our own data, but all the UCs administer this, and then it's done nationally. So we have the ability to benchmark ourselves. It's a well-developed and expert designed tool and instrument. So I'll just say that about that. I was able to, I'll add in the chat one of the links that has more information about that survey. Let's see, we have, so there's a question here also from a parent about a student who's in their first year and has not found vegetarian options in the cafeteria that are as good and has been eating a lot of tofu and veggie burgers, but are looking for more options. Do our students have any other feedback or ideas that they might suggest, and I'll add one afterwards.
Yeah, so as a student that's been here since freshman year and had a gluten intolerance, I felt like I had a very similar experience with finding things at first. So I just went to the dining services and the employees that worked in the dining halls, and I was like, hey, like I feel like I need more resources, and they actually offered like an entire gluten-free fridge of things within the center. And also just they pointed out all of the gluten-free options they had already laid out. So I think just communicating my concerns really helped because I know like you obviously want to use your money that you've paid for the dining services and they're there to support you. So I would definitely recommend reaching out to them, and they helped me a lot. So I'm sure they would also help the student in need.
I'm looking to add to what Sophia just said.
Corey.
Yeah. At student dining, we do have dietitians that work for us at student dining, and so exactly what Sophia said. If there's a student that have a special dietary need, that to reach out to our dietitian, and then we will work with the students to make sure that they have a plan in place to help them through the whole 4 years that they're here.
Great, and I also would say I know it can be challenging to say to bring up to the staff let's say my dietary needs, or we don't have enough vegetarian options that are sufficient at maybe at a particular dining hall. One thing that we try to do is often with students is practice asking for help. And so some students do it very, comfortably. Others prefer to do stuff on their own. Many of our students had, tremendous success prior to coming to UC Davis, and they didn't always require a lot of support. And they get here and there's a lot going on. And so I would encourage us as much as possible to role play and practice. Practicing can really help you increase your ability to ask for help. And then, if somebody requests more vegetarian options and that's not successful, then following back up. Certainly Corey and myself are also options. We can usually make the right connection. We have wonderful resources at UC Davis, but we are very large. And so we try to make it so students don't have to make a special request, but when they do, we do our best to listen and be responsive. So just another thing to add to in supporting our students. So we have another question here about bike helmets. So it says, we visited the campus. We've noticed few students wear bike helmets. Our student is fearful to ride his bike and embarrassed to wear a helmet. And so Corey talked a little bit about our, I'm gonna, if you could mention again the campaign that we have.
Helmet hair, don't care. Pablo, helmet hair, don't care.
So that is, we are trying to get a campaign around that. You get a free, we offer a free helmet as well from taking the short survey if you go to the bike barn. So we're trying to encourage that as much as possible and make it just something that everybody does. All right, I think we have time for one more question. And so there's a question about how has COVID affected the amount of resources available to students? So maybe we'll start with our students to answer that, and then Corey and I can follow up. Ryan, would you like to start this one off?
Yeah, absolutely. So how has COVID affected? Yeah, I mean, I think more and more students are seeking out counseling services during this time, which naturally will make the system more overloaded than a typical non-COVID year, right? So I think it's a good thing because more students are realizing that they need this mental health care, they need this type of support. So I find being aware of what you need is better than kind of putting it to the side constantly, which is kind of what I did before I came to Davis. So I'd say that's kind of how COVID has affected things in a good way, though, but because students are finally kind of realizing that, okay, I do need this support, and I'm happy to get it from counseling services.
Yeah, I found that with the pandemic, people were definitely open more to talking about what they needed and how they felt. And I definitely feel like UC Davis has given me a space also to talk about how I'm feeling, with the support there from not only my peers, but from also my supervisors. And I feel like due to the pandemic, UC Davis has been inspired to expand even more with the resources that they have. In the sector I'm in within campus recreation, we are in a huge push for expanding our resources, also with a very inclusive mindset. So like with our self-defense and meditation, all these things, we're trying to promote classes in so many different sectors that will meet different students' needs. And that's been the main priority for us, is just to push out, come as you are, and really spread awareness and get people to come in and use our services, because we're here to help students in different ways that might not just be the like counseling services. It's a little different of a touch, but we could still get to students' needs in a different way.
Great, and we do have one. We have so many questions. I'm sorry we didn't get to. However, we will be. We are going to be responding to each one of the questions in written fashion. Corey, I did want to ask you to weigh on one last issue, which is, what does the future look like for student affairs, and are there tangible ways to support our students comprehensively?
Yeah, thank you so much, Pablo. So I think the future looks really bright for student affairs. We're doing our best to listen to our students, listen to their needs, and then react, and all the programs and everything else that I've mentioned during the presentation is the campus reacting to the needs of our students, and I think we will continue to do that. The tangible way that I think people can help is that there's, like I mentioned earlier, the fee waiver program that Sophia talked about and I talked about, campus recreation. Aggie Campus is another program where that we can use support, in that area. If we have more funding there, we can provide more grants, for students and more waivers for students. We also have a waiver program, Student Health and Housing Services, to help students to pay for health care. And so if, any kind of funding, every dollar that we receive, help supplements, the services that we provide within student affairs to support our students. So that is what I would say a tangible way for us to support our students on this campus.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vu. So we will now, you will see that a poll has should have come up on your screen at this point. And so we will go ahead and ask you to participate in the Plugged In Student Health and Wellness poll. I want to thank everybody for your very thoughtful questions. And then if you can just take a minute to complete the poll. And then we will move now to some closing remarks. So I'd like to take a moment to thank our speakers again for taking the time to share how Student Affairs is helping our students in campus community with their mental, physical, and emotional well-being. I'd also like to thank all of you for joining us today and for your philanthropic support. As the Chancellor highlighted in his video, this initiative is a perfect example of how UC Davis utilizes a holistic approach to bring attention to student wellness. If you're interested in giving to Student Affairs to fund programs like these, you can contact Jane Fortner, our Director of Student Affairs Development. We hope you are all staying healthy and safe, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon. Thank you again, and goodbye.